Welcome to another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the Almighty B Live, the Money Man Scottie D, and your host, the head of creative, Eddy Cool. And without any further ado, let's give it up for the Sports Bros. It's Tuesday, so you know what that means. It's time for another edition of the Sports Bros Podcast. That's right, episode 110. A whole bunch of them, a whole lot of them. That means it's 10 after 100 or 9 after 100. I don't know, man. Too much time in the sun probably got my brain fried. But that's neither here nor there. Welcome to another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. And of course, you know I cannot do this by myself. I have two of the best co-hosts in the world. Introducing first, flying. I'm not going to do it to you, Be Live. Introducing first, the Almighty Be Live.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? I'm going to go ahead and just put it out there. If you ain't seen the video on Facebook yet, stay tuned. It's going to be a What Happened episode coming very, very soon. And I'm just going to pick on myself because you're just wrong. Like, I'm in pain. I'm in recovering, rehab, injury report, 6 to 8 weeks. Hamstring, pow. See what happened is that I gained some weight over this COVID thing and ain't been active. And I decided the first active thing I wanted to do was run a race on the beach. My legs did not cooperate at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that out of the way. And because the other guy's gonna pick on me at some point in time. So I just want to go ahead and get that out of the way. And go ahead and introduce the other guy. Let's go ahead and do it.
All right. And speaking of the other guy, the pride of Washington, Pennsylvania, the one, the only, the man himself, the Money Man, Scottie D.
Na 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 na. Hey. Na 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 na. Hey. Hey. At least Be Live, you didn't fall in your mouth. You can still use that. They'll do a little talking to us here this evening. Still got us talking. But hey, real quick, just want to say, I'm wearing gray in honor of Brain Tumor Awareness Month in May. And a year ago, my dad had a brain tumor that is now pretty much gone. It's been removed and radiated, barely detectable anywhere. And as we record today is his birthday. So happy 73rd birthday to my dad. I'm very proud of him for coming through the brain tumor situation a year ago. So I'm wearing my gray Trinity representing my high school and my job right now. And just feeling very blessed today, guys. And speaking of blessed, what a blessed weekend in sports. Something big happened, Eddy Cool. Something big happened.
Oh, yeah, something big did happen. Something ginormous did happen as we're going to roll right into it. It's called the PGA Championship in Kiowa Island, South Carolina, the home state of the Almighty Be Live and the one, the only, the HOC, Eddy Cool. And Scott, had a long-term residence there as well, too. Phil Mickelson, nobody picked him. I don't think any one of us picked him, none whatsoever. He winds up winning the PGA Championship. Brooks Koepka finished second, and Louis Oosthuizen, I know I butchered his name, comes in third. Scottie D, man, it was an exciting tournament, man. What's your takeaways from the tournament?
Wow. Man, I was watching this with the intensity of watching a football game on Sunday afternoon. I mentioned my dad. I watch a lot of sporting events with my dad. And a few months ago, I said to him, we were watching golf, and I said, I can't understand why Phil Mickelson isn't competitive anymore. Why is he not even like in the running? He's missing cuts. He's not playing well. It's not like at age 50, he's in really good physical condition. He's in great shape. He hits the ball as far as most of the guys on the tour. Why is he not doing better? And Thursday, I heard him say, Thursday after his opening round, in an interview, he said, I'm starting to really concentrate more. I'm not having lapses in concentration. And I'm thinking, why were you anyway, Phil? You're a golfer. Like, what else are you thinking of when you're out there competing? But At the end of the tournament, or actually said this on Saturday and again on Sunday, that he was able to really keep focused. He was focused. And guys, what an incredible weekend he put together for us. He showed that he can still compete. He was just having, I guess, some mental issues with the game, which is huge in golf, as we all know. Mm-hmm. But man, what an incredible weekend. He came out on Sunday and bogeyed the first hole, and Brooks Koepka birdied the first hole. And I thought, well, Phil has yet to put together 4 good rounds in any tournament in recent memory. This is going to start going Koepka's way. And then the 2-shot flip-flop kept happening through the first, 6, 7 holes or so. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, Phil built a lead, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is too good to be true. I don't want to jinx this. This is too good to be true. And guys, when he coasted in and made the par putt to finally seal the deal on 18, I almost wanted to cry. I was like, this is fantastic. It kind of gave you the same feel as a Tiger winning the Masters 2 years ago, did it? I mean, didn't you guys feel that way? Considering these two, Tiger and Phil, are like the preeminent golfers of the recent era. You know, these are the 2 best. And to see Phil do that, it was almost kind of like it encapsulated his career, because over his career, he's done incredible things. And then he's done stupid things that cost him tournaments. And he does great things and bad things. And that's what was happening in this whole tournament. Saturday afternoon, he built a 5-6 shot lead, and then got to the back 9 and was just bogey and double bogey and gave almost all of them back. And then Sunday, just when you think he's going to give it back, he birdies again. It was fantastic, guys. Let me get another perspective here, because I'm getting hype and goosebumps just talking about what I saw this weekend.
Be-Li, where you at on this here PGA Championship? Lefty, the hefty lefty gets a W.
Lefty. Man, it was just one of those things where, like Scott said, it was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I was like, what? Is Brooks Koepka, is he back? He spoke a lot about his knee injury. And he even stated that he wasn't 100%. But man, the feel of this tournament was it was second to none. I won't say post-pandemic, because we're still in a pandemic. It's still out there. I think ask the Seattle Mariners about what's going on with that. If just a little caveat, a little side note. Ooh. But man, it was this tournament really, like the weather, the scene, it was exactly what any golf fan could dream about. Every bit of it. And when I saw the biggest shot of ever, I think, was when Phil Mickelson had that sand save and freaking chipped it in, and the place erupted. I was like, that's it. This is this tournament. Right then and there,
it
I
felt
was
like a sign, didn't it? It felt like
absolutely. Man, I tell you, man, Phil Mickelson, he has inspired me. 50 years old, the oldest person to ever win a major, and I think I might be able to come off the men and might be able to get back into shape just because of old hefty lefty. I believe I could do it. I'm an ice up, son. And I'm gonna get back on that horse and ride. Eddie, don't look at me like that.
I'm not.
Trust me, the video's coming soon, y'all. Everybody's gonna get a good laugh out of this. I promise.
In the words of Bart Scott, can't wait.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Like I said, I had a chance to watch the tournament this past most of it Saturday, and I was like invested. I was like this. I was like in the screen, like, man, this is pretty damn. Wow, man, this is close, and this is close. And okay, the score, and looking at everything and putting everything together, and then like the flip flop, and then you had, what was it, Brandon Grace from South Africa? He was in 5th place for like what seemed to be forever, and Rory, way at player. I don't know what the hell Rory was, and some of the usual suspects wasn't there, and like they said, Brooks Koepka had a bum knee. You really could not tell. Really could not tell, because it got to the point where Brooks was at the bottom, and then he slowly started trekking up the leaderboard, and and like Scottie D said, he went to flip flopping back and forth. I'm like, oh, could we get the Bomber Brooks back? And then Lefty came in and did what he did. Go ahead, Scottie D.
Yeah, actually, you guys both mentioned Brooks Koepka, and I wasn't expecting anything from him in this tournament, to be honest with you, because he has really not played a lot, and he hasn't been able to play well because this is his second knee injury. I think originally his left knee was bothering him, and then he got that fixed, and this is the right knee, I think. He said afterwards that it didn't affect his swing. He said that wasn't the reason why he lost. But lingering below was out in front of them was Louis Oosthuizen, and this guy has a reputation of every once in a while on going on getting birdie happy. I've seen him do it in tournaments before, and he'll just go on like a birdie run. After I saw how Brooks was playing about 7 or 8, he just didn't look right. He didn't look like he had his confidence in him, and I thought maybe the knee was bothering him, and maybe it wasn't. He didn't admit it, but at that point, I wasn't so much worried about Koepka as maybe Louis going out ahead of him and reeling Phil in there, and Phil just didn't buckle. He didn't. I thought he was going to. He started showing a couple. I think he had 2 bogeys in a row, and then 17 he blew the green on that par 3 17, and his ball looked like it was just never coming back. I mean, it was like buried, and he just punched it out just enough to 2-putt and take the bogey and take the 2-shot lead to the final hole. But he birdied 16, and that cushion, I think, was enough to propel him down to the finish. But man, the finish was crazy, because when he hit his approach onto the green, the crowd was swarming, and he was needing security, and Koepka and his caddy were under fire over there. And Brooks even alluded to, or you alluded to it earlier, B-Lab, before we started this show, that Brooks was talking about getting bumped and how it didn't feel so good on his knee, and he's a little bothered by the crowd, and I get that. I know he's been under some criticism for even saying that, but big whoop. I mean, it didn't affect the outcome of the tournament. We'll say that.
I don't care who's scrutinizing. The man had major knee surgery, and you got people running up on him. Get off of this man! Like, what are you? Yeah. Who is scrutinizing him for the comments? Because this is literally what he said. He said, "I am happy for Phil. I'm happy for the crowd. It just did not feel good on my recently rebuilt knee, and people were bumping into me. That's all." So
yeah, I didn't have a problem with it either. I thought he was fine.
And then one dude ran, like on the approach to 18. One dude ran and literally grabbed Phil Mickelson, and they had to yank him up. I'm like, okay, y'all doing a little too much. I'm so glad that we have fans back out there. It feels exactly how we want it to feel, man. Just the goosebumps. Scottie D, you're not the only one that had goosebumps. I felt every bit of it. I just come on, just say these are golfers. These are not football players. You know, they're like, just give them, let them walk. They don't walk a lot. I know.
But speaking of fans, did you see the one hole? A lady picked Phil's ball up and then dropped it.
I did not see that.
I didn't catch that. He
hit one into the gallery. This may be hole 13 or 14. He hit one just off the fairway into where the crowd was, and someone said, "Oh, the ball moved about 3 feet. A lady picked it up and then dropped it." But like, why did she pick it up in the first place? It's not. You're at a golf tournament. You must expect once in a while there may be a golf ball, and just leave it alone. Probably belongs to somebody. You might want to just not mess with that. I always think it's hilarious when somebody hits one into the gallery and they surround the ball and they all kind of stare at it like, you think it's gonna hatch? What do you expect is gonna happen? They all like surround it and look at it like, yeah,
it's an egg. It's
small egg, yeah.
What the hell? Yeah,
every I don't care. I do the same thing. I have not. That's one thing that is on my bucket list, is to attend a live golf event. And I've played golf a few times, but I mean, going to a tournament and seeing the best of the best do it, I would love to do that. I really want to go to Augusta National. I know that in the past they've had a tendency on keeping some of us from not going, but that's why I want to go even more. Just because I say what I say. I'm gonna leave that alone. I know that's a hot button topic. That's not what we do here.
Yeah, I was up in there. I'm gonna bring blades of grass between my fingers and everything.
I'm gonna bring
I think it's a
fried
little
chicken
easier.
And watermelon.
Oh, Fuzzy Zeller's not there anymore. He doesn't play anymore.
I'm done.
Yeah, I think it's a little easier to get into. But I will say this: I've not been to Augusta, but I have been to a PGA Championship on a Sunday afternoon. 2017, I believe, was Justin Thomas won, and it was in Charlotte at Quail Hall, of course. It's electric. It's electric to be in an atmosphere like that. Now, golf is actually like the one sport you see everything better on TV. I mean, at golf, you only get to see. I mean, you might see DeChambeau hit it, but you ain't gonna see where the ball ends up.
Yeah.
If you standing with him at the tee box, you ain't gonna see it. Golf is like the one sport that's almost better to watch TV, but it is electric being there, and I can imagine that what a memory Phil has mingling with those fans on 18. That'll be that was a historic win. That's something we'll always remember for the rest of our lives. It's 2021 PGA Championship.
Yep. Yeah. Knowing Bryson DeChambeau, he's probably hitting balls all the way to Monk's Corner, North Charleston, Georgetown, just bopping balls all over the doggone place. All right. Speaking of all over the doggone place, moving right along, we got the NBA playoffs. We had Scottie D's beloved play-in game, which he watched all 4 quarters of it. He watched both games.
Yeah.
Telling jokes, right? Telling good lies and bad jokes. That's what I do, baby. So far, we have the Suns leading the Lakers 1-0. The Mavs, they also lead the Clippers. They're up 1. They had a nasty dunk, but all that dunk was for nothing because the Clippers hold his L. And we also have the Grizzlies up 1-0 over the Jazz. In the East, we have the 76ers 1-up over the Wizards, and the Hawks, the Atlanta Hawks, 1-0 over the Knicks. And we have a few games that are in progress right now as we speak. Be Live, what are your takes so far on these here NBA playoffs? I know it's early, but what you think?
Man, this is already coming out to be, this is going to be electric. I can tell you right now.
Boogie, woogie, woogie. I'm sorry, I had to get it in there.
It's going to be amazing. We have a new villain in the NBA, and it goes was it Trae Young when he silenced the crowd in Madison Square Garden. Madison Square Garden sold out for this. They found the Knicks finally make it back to the playoffs. It have a home game, and he's like, there were all kinds of chants.
Don't get too happy.
So yeah, he is now a villain in the Big Apple, man. But what a shot! And then you've got, oh my God, I'm sorry, we have a couple of games in progress. I just happened to look down at my computer, and Milwaukee's beating the Heat 38-14.
Ooh.
So I was like, oh my God. All right, that's not gonna be close. Moving on. But yeah, there's so many development stories right now. What y'all think about the Jazz, the number 1 ranked Jazz without Mitchell in first game? Mitchell said he was ready to play, but
he's not happy.
He is not happy at all. And so, but he is cleared for game 2, so it's gonna be a different game. But
they might win the next 4. They may win the next 4, and then this will all be forgotten.
It'll all be. We're just going to dismiss the rise of Ja Morant.
Well, Donovan Mitchell might just be mad enough where he said, "Yeah, get out of my way. I'm just going to win this."
We know what happened with Donovan Mitchell last year when he got into the playoffs and the hell he raised. So Scottie, I would not put that past the Jazz at all. I would not. But Be Live, as you mentioned, the rise of Ja Morant. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and the 9th seed Memphis Grizzlies, I throw in the 9th seed just to poke the bear when it comes. There it is. There's the eye roll. Got him. Not only did they win the play-in tournament over probably the MVP this season, Steph Curry. Then they turn around and go into Utah and take one from the number 1 seeded Jazz, even though without Donovan Mitchell, which is a pretty big deal. But man, you gotta ride that high. You gotta ride it. You gotta let it enjoy it for a little bit. It'll probably be 4-1 Utah, pretty sure of it. But if they can squeak in one more, you got a series on you. And then 0 for Los Angeles. 0 for Los Angeles. The Clippers and the Lakers lose their first game. Man, oh man. So There's so much has happened. The Nets, their big three finally playing. This is only, I kid you not, this is only the 10th game that the big three in Brooklyn have played together.
Wow.
Out of 72 regular season games this year. And actually, yeah, they only played in 9 of them together. And this is that the 10th game was the playoff game. So they're just getting started to get their continuity together. And looks like Scottie D is probably watching his Penguins on hockey. As he is cheering in the background. I'm gonna call him out. But man, that's what we do. I love it. That's
Scottie D, what's the score? What's the score?
It is 2-1 the Penguins in the second period.
All right, 2-1 Penguins in the second period. And speaking of the NHL, the Central Division playoffs, if you will, the Hurricanes and the Nashville Predators are tied 2-2. Let's go, Hurricanes! Stop playing. Hey, speaking of that, what we done?
The Capitals are gone. How about that?
Oh wow, yeah.
Capitals out. Bruins ousted them. Bruins are looking good right now.
Yeah, all those damn Bruins. Oh, here they go again. It felt. I watched part of the I think it was game 1 or game 2 between the Predators and the Hurricanes. How about seeing an arena full of people, the RBC Center just full of people, just bodies everywhere. I'm looking around. I'm like, this is almost like 2 years ago.
You know what's interesting, and I think this is what I heard on NHL radio the other day, and I may be somewhat off on this, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe that no fans are attending the Canadian games, but they are attending the United States games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that could be kind of interesting in a later round. If you get a Canadian team, you're going up to their place and playing in front of, does that mess with home ice advantage somewhat? If, you're going to play, in front of you, if you're in the United States, you're playing in front of a ruckus home crowd in Carolina, and then you go up to Toronto and there's nobody up there,
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out. I don't know what Canada's doing about their COVID restrictions, if that's something that's going to loosen up. I'm not really 100% on that, but I think I heard something to that effect on NHL radio the other day. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, with one thing that I'll point out is that, yeah, right now Canada's still got pretty hefty COVID restrictions while the United States is opening up everything. I could tell you off rip, living in North Carolina, there was incredible backlash and push to the governor's office to reopen to full capacity. Mm-hmm. I can tell you that is so true. They were like, hold on, wait a minute. They're gonna go to Nashville and have all the fans, but they're only gonna allow 3,000 here. They're the number 1 seed in the conference. Hey, bruh, Governor Cooper, open. And sure enough, I kid you not, because we didn't expect it. I thought, and there was a lot of reports saying that June 1st was going to be the day that he was going to reopen the state. And they said, no, look, bro, no, we got hockey. We got hockey. We need this to happen right now. And sure enough, he opened up the state. And next thing you know, also, I think he attended game 1 and either sounded the horn or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, okay, yeah, you better. The saying, the state, I'm telling you, the state is crazy. And then now on top of that, the way that Nashville, the Predators have won their 2 games at home, both of them in double overtime, is insane. So it's one of those things. We got to get back in Raleigh. We got to do what needs to happen. And since Eddy Cool said it is Tuesday, even though it's Monday when we record this. So today it'll be game 5 in PNC. So I oh my God, I really, really wish I could go to a game, but the way my bank account is set up, I gotta check in. We don't have a savings, so that's just wrong. My pocket's still light. And I just came back from Wilmington, so yeah. Might be getting some ramen noodles in a second. Bruh's hungry. All right, but I digress.
He digresses.
But yeah, we got playoff basketball, playoff hockey, and I'm telling you, the stakes are higher than ever before. man, next week's show is going to be. Oh wait, actually, I apologize. Announcement. We're taking next week off.
Yeah, we're taking next week off.
We are taking for Memorial Weekend. The Sports Bros are going to be taking Memorial Day off. Enjoy time with your families. There's a lot to talk about. I know the playoff times is going to be electric. Every now and again, we just have to unwind and just enjoy it from the fan side. And then 2 weeks later, it'll be the special birthday edition. It'll be the birthday edition of the Sports Bros podcast because your boy will be turning 39 2 weeks from now. 39. Yes, sir.
39.
And 39 going on 50 because my body's still hurt. But I digress again. I told you I could pick up myself better than anybody else can. Yeah. So that's where we're at right now. All right. Let's get Amtrak this thing, Eddie. Cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, you will. I'm telling you, you will not want to miss this video of the Almighty B Live and his athletic exploitations. Fellas, what do we think about this whole Julio Jones situation? He wants out of Atlanta. He's been seen with a Dallas Cowboys hoodie on. He says he wants to play with Cam Newton in New England. What the hell is going on with Julio Jones? And then he said, you know what? Somebody asked him, so what about you being in Atlanta? He's like, I'm out. So what's going to happen with Julio Jones? Scottie D, what you think?
Yeah, he told that to Shannon Sharp on the air, whether he knew it or not. He was on the air and told him, yeah, I'm out of Atlanta. I think it's becoming mutual though. I think the new regime in Atlanta feels like they're paying this guy too much. And that might be ultimately why it's gonna be hard to get him anywhere else, because I think he carries a cap hit of like $23 million in that ballpark. So I'm not sure. Maybe he'll go to Green Bay. They may have a quarterback up there that's not showing up. They could use another body there for Green Bay for Jordan Love to throw to.
Yeah, that's
I don't know.
Ugh.
It seems late right now for this stuff to be going on in the off season because they're getting into camps and stuff. I know Aaron Rodgers already missed the first OTA. He ain't going back up there anytime soon, I guess. But yeah, as for Julio Jones, I don't know. I mean, does New England have the cap space? Does anybody have the cap space to make it work with this guy? I mean, these kind of things usually get restructured earlier in the offseason. So it's kind of weird timing to me.
Well, what I'm seeing, it is not mutual at all. It became mutual when Atlanta started shopping Julio Jones, and they made it painfully obvious that it's too much of a cap hit. And they said that loud and clear. So Julio Jones said, you know what? I'm out. Cool. So there's a lot of moving pieces to this, by the way, because there's also reports from DeAndre Hopkins in Arizona said he would restructure his contract to bring in Julio Jones. That'd be just silly. That's just silly.
Oh Lord,
that's wrong. If that happens, Arizona just won. They won. They won the Super Bowl. They got to be favorites to win the Super Bowl if Julio Jones joins Arizona, man. But he also could. One thing that blew my mind a little bit. Julio Jones mentioned about playing with Cam Newton, say he likes Cam Newton, but also complained that Matt Ryan wasn't able to get the ball down the field to him and lost a little pep in his arm. I'm like, have you not seen Cam Newton throw the football past few years?
But he likes his hats. He likes his hats. Maybe I could borrow a hat.
But then there's also a developing story. I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there, a developing story with Julio Jones, because the way that interview happened and when he announced that, yeah, I'm out of here, man. Undisputed is filmed in California. And there's a law in place that says you have to have the right, you have the permission from both parties to record a conversation.
Raggy.
If Julio Jones did not know that he was on air live, Fox Sports could be in trouble. It was mentioned a couple of times, like later on in the conversation. Hey, I'm trying to say we're on air, and the feel of it made it seem like it was planned. It seemed like it was planned, but that is something that might be developing, and I'm pretty sure it will be investigated, as because this is California state law that's in action right now. So we'll see. I don't think it'll be much of anything about it, much to do about nothing. But at the end of the day, Julio Jones about, yeah, I said what I said. I ain't got no problem with it, and it just moves on. But it is out there. But we'll see. We'll see who's going to restructure some things and give Julio a home. I have no doubt in my mind he'll be suited up, ready, and playing for some team. Some teams gonna make
probably the Chiefs. Probably be the Chiefs or the Buccaneers, just because that's the way things work. He'll be with the Buccaneers or the Chiefs.
Ain't no way in hell he going to Tampa Bay. I just can't. Good God, I'm over here. I broke out of hot sweat just thinking about
just hearing it. Just hearing it.
Oh Lord, just Mike Evans and AB and Godwin and your mama, your daddy, your grandma, Gronk, everybody. Tom Brady. If that's the case, Tom Brady gonna stay around till he about 50 and get 8, 9, and 10. All right, he gonna stick around and get. If Julio go down there, oh man, it is a done deal. Real quick, fellas, before we go to our favorite portion of the show, Tim Tebow is officially a tight end. He inks a veteran minimum deal. He's number 85, and his jersey is selling. Thoughts?
He ain't gonna be there.
He won't be there.
He won't make the team, I don't think.
$925,000 league minimum, but zero of it is guaranteed. He doesn't make the team. He doesn't get paid. All right. I've been following the story now a little bit, and I just don't understand why media has portrayed it to be what it is. He got a tryout. Yeah. He's not on the. He gets a jersey number because it is a professional team, et cetera, et cetera. There'll probably be some jersey sales. They might be in there. It might just turn into vintage. Yeah, he's not making the team. Not as a tight end. He'd be much better off as a halfback or something like that. But they've already got 4 of them. He ran one route, and it was the worst route I've ever seen in my life. In his entire NFL career, he's run one route.
And Sanchez threw it to him and it bounced off his head or something like that.
Oh my God. It was just wrong. Everything was wrong. No timing, nothing. Cut it out.
It was bad.
All right.
Next.
All right, fellas. I got a chance to watch a little bit of TSL, the Spring League. I got a chance to watch a little bit of it. Somebody got hurt. DeAndre Francois got hurt, and some dude came in and went 3 for 3 and threw a touchdown. And after that, I turned the TV off. Well, I didn't turn it off. I went back to the golf. I went back to watching golf and some other things. But fellas, now that we got that out the way, guess what time it is?
What time is it? What time is it?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. It is time for our favorite part of the show, also known as the choices of the voices. And with that being said, hey, yo, button, hit it.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Once again, thank you to the wonderful and ever so lovely Miss Button for introducing our favorite portion of the show. Man, you heard the woman, 100 and plus episodes in running. It is the choices of the voices section of our show, where we ask you guys a question. You give us the answers. We give your answers in turn. We give our answers in turn. Correction. We pick at each other. We have fun. We find out who didn't follow directions. We find out who did follow directions. We try to summarize paragraphs. Yes. Hashtag penalty box. But enough of my incoherent rambling. Scottie D, what's the question for this week's choices of the voices?
All right. I asked if you could go back in time and change one thing in sports, what would it be? This is hard, man, because I mean, only one team wins a championship every year. So your likelihood of being disappointed is very high. So there's all of us got games and outcomes and different situations that we'd want to change. It's hard to just pick one. Some did not. Some picked a few. But what do we get here, Eddie? If you let's see, let's get into it. Let's see what our listeners went with here.
They went with a lot. Starting off first, we got terrible Pete Talansky. He said the 2004 ALCS Game 5. All right. Tony Clark hits the ball to Ruben Sierra. All right, right field. Rounds third as
Ruben Sierra was on base.
Yeah, he was on base. Yes, he was on base. And it's ruled a ground rule double. The Red Sox came back from 3-0 deficit to go on to win their first World Series in 86 years. If they had big boy walls instead of little baby walls, it might have become 100+ years. Jab, 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 jug, jug, jug by terrible Pete Talansky.
I remember that one. It was one of those ones that sliced down the right field line and bounced into the bleachers like sideways. And Sierra was going to come around and score. I mean, there's no question about it, the way the ball was hitting, where he was running. But rules the rule, ground rule double. The Yankees didn't score, and Sox came back from 4
Where was this game played at?
Was in Fenway.
In Fenway.
Yeah.
I mean, they do have big boy walls. I mean, they have the monster.
Right.
But the other side, I know.
So they actually have the biggest boy wall of them all. But yeah. But yeah, that one went sliced down the right field line and bounced into the stands. And the Sox pulled off the first ever 3-0 rally to go on to win a World Series. Let's talk about something else.
All right.
That one hurt. That one hurt.
The first cut is a deep end.
Yeah.
Baby, you know. Don't sue me because I ain't got no damn money. All right, so here we go. Hot Rod. All right, Rodney Bellamy, he says, I got two. What if Lonnie Smith does not make the boneheaded base running error versus the Twins? All right, those uber talented Braves of the 90s had more than, the uber talented Braves. Yeah, the uber talented Braves may have had more than one ring. What if the Charlotte Hornets would have traded Kobe Bryant to the Lakers for Vlade Divac, a pack of Newports, and Kobe brought home some NBA championship? I'm lying about the Newports part.
No, you're not. You look at the career, the respective careers of Kobe Bryant and Vlade Divac, and say, did the Hornets make a good decision? No, they did not.
Vlade was good.
Scott, don't do that.
Vlade Divac.
Do not. Like
Vlade was good.
Both of these answers cut. So yeah, there's your revenge.
Fair enough.
All of us right now are just hurt. Now I'm emotionally hurt. I'm already physically hurt when I told you about the hashtag BeLive Beach Slide that already happened. Now I'm mentally hurt because not only my Braves and my Hornets, I mean, it just all of my teams are what if moments. There's only one team where I really don't have a what if moment, and it's and I'm wearing the Paul right here because them boys came through. And just even, I'm sorry, I digress again. I'm sorry. All roads lead to Dabo at some point in time. I don't care. Yes, sir.
Uncle Max, Hall of Famer Uncle Max, he says the Packers select linebacker Patrick Queen out of LSU rather than Jordan Love in the first round. Flabbergasted by that choice. Us too, Uncle Max. Us too. And now you got what you got going on in Green Bay.
Man, that's pretty much it. If they would have they've done anything besides they could have picked anybody. They could have picked a punter in the first round and Aaron Rodgers might have been all right, but you picked this man's replacement. Instead of helping him, you picked his replacement. Yes, he wants out. He got to that didn't make any sense.
To our Green Bay Packer fans who are listening and viewing this podcast, jump in the comment section on the YouTube channel or anchor.fm or either way, or hit us up individually or collectively. Let us know what the hell is going on in Green Bay. Do you get tired of your quarterbacks? Do you want to get them the hell up out of here? Like y'all acting like quarterbacks come a dime a dozen. Franchise quarterback come a dime a dozen. You've been lucky for the past 30 plus years to have Brett Favre, that little small gap, and then Aaron Rodgers. Like Green Bay, check in with us, man. Check in with us, tap in, let us know what the hell is going on. Moving right along.
Jordan Love better be like the greatest thing since sliced bread. He telling, because if he don't, they're gonna crucify him. They're gonna crucify this man if he ain't coming out and winning immediately. That's ridiculous freaking amount of pressure that's going to be on his head. They have to. He has to match Aaron Rodgers in every which way. There's no other way around it. We got a lot of other answers. Boy.
Yeah, the margin for error is very slim, or does it exist at all? All right, so here we go. We got Ryan Rubelski. I didn't butcher that name. Holla at your boy. Rubelski. I still butchered it, but hey, what's up, Ryan? What's happening? All right, he says Neil O'Donnell making the flight to the Super Bowl against Dallas. Wow.
Thank you for that one.
Oh, just making the flight. You gotta just cut him off. Don't even go to baggage claim. Just turn around. Don't even
go that way. You gotta go. Oh man, that was a good one. All right. Tom winner chicken dinner. He says long distance glasses for Scott Norwood and more stickum for Ernest Biner.
That one hurt. That Ernest Biner fumble. That one hurt.
Ooh.
That was revenge for the drive. Biner drops the ball on the 1 yard line, and his body went in the end zone. He was scoring. So, yeah, I bet you Brownies fans would want to change that, but they may want to change the drive also. There's a few to pick from the Brownies. Maybe selecting Tim Couch or Johnny Manziel. Too many for the Browns. Anyway,
Brandon.
Move along here.
Brandon Whedon.
Charlie Fry,
Brady Quinn, Colt McCoy. But Browns, since then, you have done a whole hell of a lot better. Shout out to my Browns fans out there. All right, we got JR. He says, what if Coach K doesn't put Sheldon Williams back in the first half of the Final Four match when he had 2 fouls? All right. He said, we win the 2004 NCAA championship. Also, what if Donovan McNabb would have played better in the Super Bowl versus New England? Philly would have not 1, but 2 Super Bowl rings.
Probably.
Yeah, there's a strong possibility. A lot of games are determined by quarterback play, and that was just Donovan McNabb's Achilles heel. Big game after big game after big game. He just did not do what was needed to be done. So, yeah, especially back in 2003, that 2003-2004 season, that NFC Championship game where the Panthers beat the Eagles 14-3. All right, I had to throw that out there. All right, cool. Yes, sir. All right.
All right, here we go. We got the best name in the game, JoJo Comfort. He says, pretty simple one for me. June 1986. I like to see Len Bias not die from cardiac arrhythmia due to a cocaine overdose. All right. He said, I think he'd have proven to be worthy rival for Jordan and the Bulls dynasty.
Very well may have been. He was lined up to take. Yeah, he was lined up to take the torch from Bird and them guys and carry the Celtics through the next decade.
Very big what if. Very, very big what if. Man,
very big what if, man. What if? You think about the history of sports, there's a lot of what ifs, man. A lot of what ifs.
I'm sorry, fellas. Yeah. I'm so sorry. I read down
screaming.
I screamed because I read down a little bit and I forgot. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, yes, we keeping all of that in. Moving right along, we got Mike Davis. He said, Scottie, you'll like this one too. He said, Mario Lemieux doesn't get Hodgkins and breaks Gretzky's record. I think he would have been real. I think out of all the players, Mario Lemieux would have been the closest one to, get a crack at Gretzky's records, I think.
Well, the season that he got Hodgkins, he missed 24 games and he still led the league in scoring. So that just goes to show you how on top of his game he was at that particular time. So yeah, he may. I mean, if you ever go back, and I don't know them off the top of my head, but if you look at Wayne Gretzky's like single season scoring records from like the early '80s, they're obnoxiously good. I mean, I don't know if Lemieux was going to make a run at those numbers, but Lemieux had Hodgkins one year, and then he had several injuries back. His back bothered him through a lot of his career. Then he actually took like 3 or 4 years off and came back. A healthy Mario Lemieux may have given Gretzky scoring a go. He may have had a legit challenge at it because Mario was phenomenal as well. But that's a good one. I like that one. I hadn't thought of that one.
All right, this next one, I was going to save the best for last, but the reason why B Live hollered, Trey Dizzle.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
You already know. I was like, I'm going to say this real quick. Sometimes we do get the chance to read these before, and there's sometimes where like I've been out of town all this weekend, and so I hadn't read them, and I looked down. I said, "Oh God!" And I read it, and yeah, I hollered. I said, "You a complete fool, Trey Dizzle, man." Oh boy, Eddie, could we just go ahead and hit him with it? Yeah.
Trey Dizzle says, brace yourselves, Sports Bros family, listeners. Just to let you know we love you and thank you for checking us out every Tuesday. The Sports Bros podcast. Trey Dizzle says Dak Prescott's father never has unprotected sex with Dak's mother the night he was conceived. In case you don't know the story, ladies and gentlemen, Trey Dizzle loves him some Tony Romo and can't stand Dak Prescott's dirty draws. So hence why, if you've been listening to the podcast, you wonder why is this guy always this hard on Dak Prescott? Now you know why. Yes, that's a what if, but moving right along. We're not even going to change.
Trey. Wow.
Yeah, just wow. Just
160 million. 127 million guaranteed
up front in your face.
Trey, you could have picked any of the many turnovers that Romo had that cost us chances of the playoffs. No, you got to go pick on Prescott's parents.
He doesn't even want the guy to exist.
Right, he wants him to not be alive.
Right, like yeah.
Wipe him off the face of the earth.
Ooh, Lord.
Hey, Eddie, there was one on here from Mark Olds. Did you see this one?
Yes. Speaking of Tony Romo, Mark Olds said Romo got that first down. And I was like, what is he talking about?
No. Okay, yeah, he did respond to that. There's another one that Mark Olds posted on about, he said he would make his answer to, if he could change anything, it would be Bo Jackson never getting hurt.
That's a good one. Yep, Mark Olds, that's a good one too. Bo Jackson never getting hurt. And then his original answer was Romo getting that first down. That was in reference to the Seattle game inside the 20. He ended up running. I don't remember if it was a broken play or what. It was a field goal attempt, right?
Yeah, and he bobbled the snap and he tried to take off and got shoestrung from behind.
He just ended up short of the first down. Damn, it sucks to get old. He said, I don't remember any more details. Mark, sometimes that stuff you want to forget. Trust and believe.
Just a mental block. Just you don't want that memory to exist.
You remember that? No, not at all. All right, here we go. Stephanie Seidel. Hey, Stephanie, how you doing? First time. Ooh, I'm breaking stuff over here. First time on the podcast. Shout out to Stephanie Seidel. And she says, Theismann not breaking his leg. I remember watching as a kid and being in horror as they played the break again, and again. She said, I'm a Cowboys fan, but that broke my tiny little heart. That was nasty.
Rough one.
That was bad. Rough one. Yeah, you don't have to not like the team, and you know that's bad. Will Berry, he says he would have loved to seen Adam Vinatieri miss the game winner against the Carolina Panthers in the Super Bowl. Me too, Will. Me too.
So, oh boy.
Yeah. Whew. All right, moving right along. We got Greg Webster. He said, how about Don Zimmerman sit his ass down somewhere? Pedro would have killed them if he kept going. Fellas,
that was crazy. That was crazy.
That was wild.
Yeah. I was hot when it happened. I was like, Pedro threw this old guy down by his face. But I mean, literally, the old boy did charge right at Pedro. He's kind of more defended himself and deflected than anything, but that was a bad situation.
Ole. The bull went charging and the bull went. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Lord. And he was looking like a weeble wobble and he did fall down. And I was like, oh, this is not good. This is not good.
He went down harder than Be Live on a beach, man. It was crazy.
No,
He went down harder than Be Live on a beach.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I got to wait a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to switch the view so we can see Be Live's face, Be Live's reaction. Be Live, that was a good one. Ooh.
I was, you like almost cussed for real. Oh, you son of a, oh boy.
Moving right along. We got Joe Gafkin. He said, I wish Len Bias never died. Would have loved to see what he could done at the next level. R.I.P. Len Bias.
2 for that one, man. That was a hurtful one for people in that area, man. It really was.
Yeah, man. I can only imagine. Lonnie Doxy. What's up, Lonnie? First time in forever. He said, James Augustine plays more than 7 minutes in the 2005 NCAA championship game. The referees poo-pooed Illinois in that game. So that was D. Brown, Luther Head. Okay, and James.
Yeah,
Augustine.
I don't remember much about that, but I'm assuming he must have gotten some bad foul trouble when Carolina wins.
Yep, Carolina wins. All right, Monique Adams. She says the year Aaron Rodgers won his first Super Bowl against her beloved Pittsburgh Steelers. Yep, his first and only Super Bowl. And then we got Chris Rivera. I like this one. He said, I changed the way the Lakers look at rookies that they want to draft. Players don't come to the Lakers and get a chance to develop. You get drafted, you expect it to be amazing and polished right away, right out the gate. 10 of those rookies leave the ball out in other locations. So yeah, I would change the way the Lakers draft players. Scottie D is a Laker fan. Do you agree or disagree?
Well, they were stocked up on young talent with Kuzma and Brandon Ingram and Ball. At one point, they had D'Angelo Russell. And, they let all that go for the opportunity to get LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And it's hard to fault that. But, I've said this before. It would have meant more to me as a Laker fan to watch those young players develop and win together than it was to bring in, the super team. That's what NBA does. Is I have a hard time with that. It's just guys joining together, combining for like super teams and stuff. And when the Warriors did it, they drafted and grew together, then added Durant. That's not the case with LeBron and Bosh in Miami, and it's not the case with him and AD in LA. But if you're Los Angeles and you can get AD and LeBron, you kind of have to do it. But it's one of those things you can see both sides of the coin. But that's a very interesting answer because, I was following those guys, and what's his name with the Knicks?
Julius
right
Randle.
Julius
my
Randle.
man. Yeah, Randall. I was so excited when they drafted Julius Randle. I was really, I was big on him coming out of Kentucky. So so all those guys, they drafted a handful of talent there in those couple of years, and none of it grew into anything really. So
sometimes, and I get it. Like sometimes it doesn't feel authentic when you trade and move pieces, as opposed to if you're drafting and developing young talent and everything, and it does end up shining. It just feels a little bit more authentic. Yes, everybody wants a championship, and the game has changed. Now every player is their own agent or whatever. They have agents, of course, but they're working out these side deals and stuff like that to get more and more talent. And you're moving around all these pieces, everything. Now they're all on other teams, and
right.
Like,
but even if you go back to when Lakers signed Shaquille O'Neal, I mean that was huge at the time because Shaq was the biggest star in the league, arguably at that time. Other than Michael Jordan being in and out of the league around that time, but getting Shaq to the Lakers. But Kobe wasn't a superstar just yet. He was still a teenager learning the professional game, and they grew together to be champions. And Derrick Fisher was drafted the same year as Kobe, and those guys grew together. Then you start adding pieces, then you start trading for your Rick Foxes and Robert Horrys, and that, like you said, B-Lev, that felt more authentic than just here's Rondo, here's AD, here's LeBron, put them together, see if you can win a championship like they did last year, which was great because I like the Lakers, but it didn't have nearly the meaning of any of the other ones I'd seen prior to that. So good call on that one. But as a great man once said, I digress.
Hey, nice way to rebound after the the joke. All right, so anyways, yeah, man, and look at Brandon Ingram. Are you serious? Look at Brandon freaking Ingram, BI as the kids call him. All right, Scottie D, what's the one what if for any of your teams?
If I could go back and change one thing, this is such a toss-up because the most painful sports memory of my life was when the Braves beat the Pirates to go to the World Series in 1992. If we could have got one more pitch by Francisco Cabrera, we go to the World Series. The Buccos go take on the Blue Jays that year. But I'm going to go with, if I could change one thing, I would not allow Jerry Jones to have fired Jimmy Johnson. Because if he didn't do that, I believe the Cowboys would have won 5 Super Bowls in a row. Jimmy was coming off back-to-backs. The following year, they got out-coached in the championship against San Francisco. Barry Switzer was underway, and Barry Switzer's tenure deteriorated year by year. Now, the second year, they won the Super Bowl, but they won despite Barry Switzer, not because of him. And then from then on, they just fell off. I think Jimmy Johnson sticks around and coexists with Jerry Jones somehow. I think the Cowboys will lit it up for a few more trophies. So that's my pick. I wish every day he would keep his big snout out of everything. Stay out of it. Let the football people do football things. That's what I would change. I wouldn't let Jerry Jones fire Jimmy. Jimmy, the Hall of Famer. Be Live, how about you? What you got, buddy?
The best hair in the business, baby. Who you got, Be Live?
Well, everybody, y'all already know my answer because y'all know I'm Panthers through and through. But I wanted to break this down just a little bit because that there's a lot of things that led up to that Adam Vinatieri field goal and the Patriots beating the Panthers. If the Panthers would have beat the Patriots that year, I don't think we're talking about Tom Brady in the same light that we're talking about him right now.
Nope.
So I'm just gonna put that out there. That changes everything. But John Casey kicking it out of bounds, gave the ball to Tom Brady with a minute some change remaining to drive down the field for that field goal. Yes, we'd like to change that. But there's a couple other pieces that went into this story. There's one that we don't really talk about that much. But Jake Delhomme fumbling the ball in the second quarter when he got sacked by Mike Vrabel, and Richard Seymour recovered the ball on the Panthers' 20-yard line. Extremely short field. If that fumble doesn't happen, maybe that touchdown doesn't happen, and that's a 7-point swing. We're not talking about extra points or 2-point conversion. 2-point conversion is also a big part in that, because if the Panthers, instead of going for 2-point conversions to bring within 3 points or whatever in those games and just kick the extra point, it'd have been 31-28. If you really look at it, it'd have been 31-28 when Casey kicked the ball out of bounds, and Adam Vinatieri's field goal kick would have been to tie the game. So there's a lot of things that went wrong in that game. But I think the fumble that gave the Patriots that short field and they scored a touchdown very shortly after, that's a 7-point swing that easily could have changed the entire outcome of that game. So
your answer's a whole bunch of stuff?
It's the fumble. It's the fumble. I want to point out all the other things.
Because you feel like that was the first domino that led to the other things happening. Gotcha. Yes. Okay. Fair enough.
Yes, sir. Eddy Cool, what you got for us? What you got? My fellow keep pounding brother.
All right. So here we go. As soon as Scottie D posed the question, it just hit me all in my face. John Casey, one of the best to ever do it for a very, very long time between Seattle and between Carolina. He should be a Hall of Famer. I could have went upside his head when he kicked the ball out of bounds on the ensuing kickoff, that is a automatic 20-yard give me to the opposing team, which in turn, they drove down the field, got into field. The Super Bowl was ours. It was ours. It was bird in the bush, bird in the hand, bird in the feather. How the hell they say it? It was there for us. All right. It was there for us. Musa Muhammad played a good game. Steve Smith played a good game. Deshaun Foster, he was 3 yards in a cloud of dust, but he really did his thing. The defense did what they were supposed to do. John Casey, you have one job to take your toe, kick the ball. I don't care if you kicked out of the end zone, but you kicked it out of bounds. You gave the Patriots a 20-yard spot. They marched up the field. They got in field goal position. And then Adam freaking Vinatieri wins it for the Patriots. All you had to do was take your toe, kick it on that ball for it to go straight. If it would have went to the left or to the right, or if somebody would have caught it, good, because the Patriots didn't have no, they didn't have no good special teams. They had Deion Branch and Troy Brown. They're not really doing much on special teams, okay? They're not known for their special teams. Was Matthew Slater still playing at the time? But I digress. But still, though, all you had to do was take your foot and kick the damn ball. Kick it out the end zone. Kick it out the end zone.
Yep, that's toughy.
At this point in time, looking at it, close to 20 years later, me and Bilal be like, hey man, we stood in the way of Tom Brady not getting the 30 rings, but we've just helped him.
And as also that HOC also mentioned, anytime that we mention Adam Vinatieri, it's not just Adam Vinatieri, it's Adam freaking Vinatieri, because this is 17 years later, we have not gotten over at all. It just Adam freaking Vinatieri, and just want to make sure that everybody understands. There's times where it's not just freaking Vinatieri. We're on the air right now. There's no need for the dump button, but what we do is from time to time we just look back, because that they also played. He just won the 7th one time. Brady won the 7th. So at some point in time, there's been a highlight of him winning that. Oh my God, I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah,
if I could turn back the hands of time,
my Panthers, you would have you a ring. Oh. Anyways, Scottie D, what's on tap for next week?
All right, I thought you'd never ask, actually.
The look on Scottie's face.
I thought you'd never ask.
Oh boy, my chest. I'm so
all right.
slow. Oh God.
So, all right, so flipping it over to next week. You know how sometimes a song takes you back to a time or a place or somewhere else on your mind? What song do you most relate to sports? What song gives you a trigger? It could be something like the Monday Night Football theme song, or a song you hear in your specific arena, or they play in your stadium, or maybe it's Shaquille O'Neal and Foo Schnickens, something like that. But it's like a song that triggers you in your sports mind. What song do you most relate to the world of sports? Da 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 da. Hey, da, da, da. Something like that. So Eddie, that'll give us something to talk about next week.
2 weeks from now.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. In 2 weeks.
Yes.
In 2 weeks.
Yes.
So you get 2 weeks to think about it.
Charge.
And with that being said, shout out to everybody, because I ain't got time to read all the names. Shout out to everybody for their participation in this week's Choices of the Voices. See y'all in 2 weeks. Have some good answers. I might have to sift through them, but anyways, we appreciate your participation in our Choices of the Voices segment. See y'all next week.
Okay, boys, let's bring it home with a round of pepper.
Well, you heard the woman. It's time to go home and get the hell up out of here. Another round of pepper, which means it's about time for us to get the hell up out of here. Scottie D got to watch his Penguins. I got to make dinner. B-Live got to hate watch Monday Night Raw again and have some fun. You know how we do it. 3 topics, rapid fire style, kind of, sort of, not really. We talk about some newsworthy topics for you and make sure it's good. And I'll go first, all right? On this day in history, back in 1989, the Stanley Cup final at the Montreal Forum. All right. The Calgary Flames defeat the Montreal Canadiens 4-2 to win, 4 games to 2 to win their first Stanley Cup in franchise history. That's right. The team that used to be in Atlanta, well, they left with Calgary and raised a Stanley Cup. Let's see who was on that Calgary Flames team. Lanny McDonald, he had a big mustache, and my man Doug Gilmour, and a few more guys that can't come to mind at the time. But yeah, shout out to the Flames. Flame on. Over to you, Scottie D.
So as I'm about to make my first pepper point, the Islanders have just tied the game 2-2 in the third period.
Boo.
Which brings me to my pepper point. In game 3, the Penguins had 5 men in the penalty box at one time. The referees, they had enough of everybody on the ice and sent everybody into the penalty box. One of those players was not Evgeny Malkin, which is shocking because in game 4, he took 3 penalties. Malkin, buddy, you got to stay out of the penalty box in the playoffs, dude. And now we're down. We're 2-2 on the verge of losing home ice. Score. Do better. I like the Penguins win the Stanley Cup. Be live. Over to you.
Yeah, whatever. All right, cool. So just will quick little some news from across the pond. The English Premier League in soccer. Yes. Has concluded, and congratulations to Manchester City for winning the English Premier League, and congratulations to them, Manchester United, Liverpool, and Chelsea for making it to the Champions League. Is Eddie Cool, the ball.
Oh boy, that was a quick one about football across the pond. All right, pepper point number 2 is a classic story of quit trying to steal stuff that don't belong to you. I almost said the other word. I don't have the dump button on Zoom yet, but I'll get to it one day. All right, this story involves Derrick Lewis. Yeah, the beast, Derrick Lewis, aka his balls out. Yeah, that dude. It involves UFC fighter Derrick Lewis. All right, so 9:30 a.m. on a Tuesday morning in Houston, his home city, Derrick Lewis found a man attempting to break into Derrick Lewis's car with a screwdriver in Houston. All right. A quote from the New York Post and Jody Silva, a public information officer, and he said, quote, Mr. Lewis said he went over to the suspect, struck him, and placed him on the ground until the police arrived. And he also said, that's the nicest way to put it. Translation, he beat his ass for trying to break into his car. That's what happened. So the thing about it is I don't understand like the thought process. Hey, this is Derrick Lewis. He's a big dude. And I could just imagine the look in the dude's eyes like, oh my God, he's coming. And next thing you know, he sees his feet up in the air. He closes his eyes. It's a 2-hit fight. Him getting hit by Derrick Lewis and him getting hit by the pavement. Kids, crime does not pay. Get a damn job. They're hiring all over the country. Over to you, Scottie D.
All right, so back in mid-April, the Yankees were 5-10, and I mentioned how they went on a big skid last year and then won like 10 in a row after that, but I wasn't sure if they were capable of doing it this year. Well, as of right now, they are 28-19. There's 19 losses, only bettered by the Padres and Dodgers, who have 17 and 18 respectively, and they've been doing on the strength of some good pitching by Garrett Cole, a no-hitter by Corey Kluber. Yanks are looking good. They're hitting the ball again. And in light of the fact that the Braves defeated the Pirates by a cumulative score of 30-3 over the weekend, let's go Yankees. Be live. Over to you.
Oh, man. 20-1 in one game, 7 home runs, 2 grand slams by my Braves. Yes, sir. Them bats were hot. But I'm gonna go back over to I'm gonna go across the pond one more time because there's so much news when it comes to the world of soccer,
Oh, plenty.
aka football. But this
Lots.
goes out to Cristiano Ronaldo, which actually he becomes the first player in history, in all of soccer history, to win be the leading scorer in the Premier League, which is England's top soccer league, in La Liga, which is Spain's top soccer league, and Serie A, which is the top soccer league in Italy. So Cristiano Ronaldo has conquered 3 different countries that are huge in soccer. So for him to win the scoring title, he won the scoring title in Serie A, the Italian top soccer league. So congrats to him, Eddy Cool, the soccer ball.
I tried to hit it, but as you can see, I missed out all this head I got. But yeah, man, you're a pretty bad dude when you can conquer 3 leagues in 3 different countries. That's GOAT-ish, as the kids say. All right, my third and final pepper point is going to be real quick, real short. It's going to be an interlude to a video. That's right, an Eddy Cool video on Thursday. Kwame Brown. Of course, everybody has been spending the past 20 years just hitting him with forks, shovels, kitchen knives, everything. They've been burying this man. He's been getting criticized over the last 20 years from Stephen A. Smith to Mike Wilbon, Matt Barnes, and yes, Steven Jackson. He even got at Charlemagne for telling too much of the family business. The newest catchphrase is "My mama's cooking and you ain't gonna mess with my mama's son." Let's just say this upcoming video will be a correlation between revenge, mental health, and leaving people the hell alone. Video coming soon. Over to you, Scottie D.
Video coming soon. All kinds of videos coming soon. All right, so last week, LeBron James violated protocol, COVID protocol, by attending an event prior to the beginning of the playoffs. And Charles Barkley said that the NBA has double standard and they won't do about it. Barkley already said it. Be live. Over to you.
Quick.
Yeah, that's
can't really argue with that.
No,
Barkley said it.
Yep.
All right. So my third and final.
He thinks it's terrible. Be right. Go ahead. Be live.
Terrible.
Terrible. My third and final pepper point. I'm gonna change it up a little bit. As wrestling fans, and I'm going to be watching Raw tonight. I haven't witnessed this before, but this is something like we've witnessed a little bit when it comes to like different brands. We had the Monday Night Wars, we had the Wednesday Night Wars as of recent between AEW, NXT, WCW, NWO, etc. I mean, factions or whatever. But there was a tweet that came out recently. I don't know if it was a tweet or Instagram or something like that. And it was spoken from the current SmackDown heavyweight champion, the tribal chief, Roman Reigns.
Acknowledge me.
Acknowledge him, the head of the table.
Head of the table.
So I'm just going to read his statement. and quote, "We got a bunch of fast food fans and they complain that they want stories and well thought out stories to develop. When you start doing that for them, they want it all now. My people, I'm cooking a steak. We're creating an elaborate omelet and we're in the process of cracking eggs right now. You're not going to get it quite yet. We're going to let them steaks stay on the grill. If you want your cheeseburger, watch Raw. SmackDown, we do filet mignon."
Woo!
Woo! Yeah.
And he's right.
The tribal chief has spoken.
Acknowledge him.
Ooh. I was like, okay, I feel you. The face of the company and all that. Yeah. So, Raw, I'm gonna need y'all to step your game up. Well, hey, quick question, fellas. Would y'all like to see Bobby Lashley, the almighty Bobby Lashley versus the tribal chief Roman Reigns?
Yep. It's better than what they got going on Raw right now.
I'm here for it. I'm definitely here for it. So let's
Kofi Mania.
Hey,
that's the
we shall see. I'm telling you.
Part 2.
Man, oh man. But yeah, that's what I got. Yes, sir.
All right, everybody got their pepper points in. Yes, everybody got their pepper points in. With that being said, all that talk about steaks and omelets and fillets, I think I smell some stuff cooking downstairs. But nevertheless, it's been another episode of the Sports Bros podcast. I almost forgot what podcast I was on. I almost called it the Choices of the Voices podcast. But you can also check the Choices of the Voices also on our YouTube channel as well, too. Speaking of the YouTube channel, go subscribe right now. Hit that notification bell so that way you can get a little blurb on your phone that says, hey, the Sports Bros podcast has uploaded another video. You can check us out on all of the aforementioned Sports Bros podcast social media platforms. We got the description, the links in the description box. As we said, next week we're taking a break. We're taking a well-deserved break. So enjoy your friends, enjoy your family, love life, Memorial Day, have fun, and most importantly, be safe. Anything to say before we get the hell up out of here, fellas?
Oh, good to go. Yes, sir.
And with that being said, and in closing, do something nice for yourself. And if you can, do something nice for someone else. They'll greatly appreciate it now more than ever. We getting the hell up out of here. And this has been another episode of the Sports
Da 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 da.
Hey!
Da
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 da da da da da.
Hey! Da 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 da. You know, man.